Hi, welcome to CraftTime. I'm Miss Stella from the Bethpage Public Library Children's Room. Today we are going to make a beautiful plant stand, and this is what our finished project is going to look like. It is going to be a turtle plant stand. See that? This all is done with flower pots, a dish. This is a little ball, and we put it all together. So you all should have picked up your supplies from the library. And in your bag of supplies, you'll have a dish like this. You should have 4 little flower pots, plastic. We have all different ones. And the ball, which is head, which I've already glued on to the plate for you, but I just wanted you to see it was just a styrofoam little ball. Okay? Then you all supposed to have supplies of dark green paint, black paint, some white paint, and a lighter green paint. And you also will need a sponge that we're gonna cut so that we can make the shape of the turtle shell on top. Okay, so to begin, I just wanna mention again that if those children that are in 4th and 5th grade, in order to receive 21st century credit, you need to submit a picture of your finished project to the children's room at the bethpagelibrary.info. You have until April the 30th to hand this in. Again, it is children's room at bethpagelibrary.info. All you have to do is email it in to us, or if you want, you can take a picture of your project and bring it to us to see in the children's room at the library. All right, so to begin, just want to show you a few of the things that you're going to also need. You're going to need some water to clean your paintbrushes. You're going to need some paintbrushes. I used a thick paintbrush like that to paint the dish and the flower pots. You will also, I took one of these little plastic containers and I put my paint in here and mixed it. I used a green paint, but I didn't want it to be so green, so I mixed a little black with mine, I will show you, to give it a darker color so that you could see the when we sponge painted after. You see I had painted this already so that you could see the head. I just painted it on there. I did paint a little around here, so I'd recommend you to paint under there, and then we'll glue the legs of the turtle on there. You have to have a little bit of patience with this craft because you're going to have to paint it at least 2 to 3 times in order to give it a nice color on it. So I'm going to show you. I also painted the feet. I have them pre-painted like that. All right. And I did paint inside a little bit. You don't have to, it's not really gonna show, it's upside down, but just to get a complete finish. So let me show you how to begin. One, you need to work on a piece of cardboard because the paint's gonna get a little messy and we don't wanna dirty any tables. And wear an old shirt or put a smock on because you could dirty your clothes. All right, so now I'm going to move the camera so that you could see what I'm doing with mixing the paint. Okay, so I'm going to take my paints. I'm going to take my green. I'm just going to open it up. Well, first, it's always a good idea to shake your paints. So I'm going to shake it. I'm just going to pour a little into my container cup here, like this. So I'm then going to take my black paint, which I'm going to shake again, and I'll put a couple of drops of the black into there. Just a little bit I put. Then I will mix it. And then if I need more green or more black, I'll add until I like the color that I am creating. Okay. Now, like I said, I already pre-painted my stuff. I'm just going to show you a little bit so that we could, okay, so now I have my paint mixed. This is a little darker. I'm going to need a little more, so I'm going to put a little more green. Whoops. And a little more black so that we have enough paint. Now, if you do use one of these kind of cups, it's good because that if you don't finish the paint and you have to wait for the thing to dry, you could just take the cap, like this has a cap, and just cover your paint and save it for when the paint dries and you can continue painting. So now, I'm going to take the one I already painted, but you can see there's still spots missing. And then you're just going to lean it down like this, lean it, and you could just go over all around and paint your legs. Oops. And that's all you're gonna do is simply go up and down until you get the you know, the nice consistency of the paint so that you can't see the purple color or whatever color flower pot you have. Like this is orange, you're gonna have to paint it so that you don't see the color and it becomes a nice, neat, like that, okay? So then you have to let it dry. So then I need to, after I'm done painting, I'm going to put my brush into my water. I just want to make sure now that we're done. So we'll put this here to dry. And now what we're going to do is we're going to glue, I'm going to show you to glue the legs onto the inside of the turtle. So I'm going to close up my paint so it doesn't ruin, like that. And I'm going to put my brush into the water, clean it off, and I'll let it sit there. So what we have to do now is I used this kind of tacky glue to glue the feet onto the turtle. So usually, look, I have like a chopstick that I could spread it, makes it easier. Just use this so I could spread onto the top of the legs. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece and then I'm going to fit all 4 of my painted, just close that paint like that and put them, like that's the 2 and then 3, 4, and I'm going to fit them onto my turtle like that and paint them. All right, so what I'm going to do now, it seems to be the perfect spot for them, like that. It's nice like that. So I'm going to open my glue. All right. And I will remove this. And I'm going to just put glue along the tops of each little flower pot, like that, okay? I'm just going to squeeze this, get some glue out, and spread it around. If you have help from a parent, you could do it with a, they could help you use the hot glue gun. It'll be faster and quicker. Right now, we're just gonna spread this. Okay, so I put a bunch of glue. Now I'm gonna put it on all 4 of them. Just round the top like that. And if anything gets out, it's clear, it'll dry clear and you won't see it. Okay, so then, the other ones too. Okay, glue, it's coming out a little floppy. And again, you have to let this sit and dry. The legs stay on. Okay, so now we have our glue on our legs, spread so we don't waste it. Put them where they were, how they were, and we're going to take again our part and we're just going to push this down and make sure that they're all there. You can turn it over if you want this way so that you see that the legs all fit in. See how I'm putting them like that? Push them on. And we're going to let them dry. Okay, so now we have them in position. We're going to turn it upside down and let them dry on there. Okay? So the next thing, we're going to put this aside, and what we have to do now, we're going to make the shape of our sponge. So let's get this out of the way. And we need to make this kind of shape of our sponge. It's like a octagon kind of thing. So where you take a sponge and we're going to just slice off the ends. You see that much we need. So let me get my scissor. And I could just copy this, or I could just, you could make it a little bigger, smaller. Cut out each corner. And then this corner. And then this corner. And this corner. See, so then you're gonna make that shape. This came out a little bigger. We really want it, you don't want it that big because it's gonna take up all the thing. So I'm actually just gonna, till I get the shape I want, cut it. Okay, you get it? So until you make the shape. If you can't make that shape, you could print up a picture of whatever shape you want, and then just trace it around and cut your sponge. Okay, so this is the extra sponge. Now for this, we're gonna use the light green. I used a lighter, like a lime green, okay? So, we take our board again. Now time has passed, the turtle has dried. Let's get him out of the way so we could just show you. And we're going to take our sponge, and you have a little bowl of water. I have some water, and I'm gonna dip my sponge in that. You also need a roll of paper towels. So I take my sponge, and I'm gonna dip it in the, okay, so it gets, and I'm going to wring it out. You don't want it soaking wet. You just want it to be damp. Okay, so put the bowl onto the side. I'm going to dry where I dripped. Now for this, we're going to use this color for the inside of this, and then we're going to take our dark green and paint with a littler brush. I'm going to use this size brush, and I'm going to paint all around just the edges every time I dip, so that I get like an outline of the shell. Okay, so this I'm going to do right on the cardboard. So I'm going to take my green paint, my light green. I'm going to just put a little bit down here. And let's see where you could see. Put right here. Okay. And then I take my sponge and I dip it in there. See, so now I got green on there. Then I put it on another spot and I just rub it, because you don't want a lot of paint. You just want enough so that you could dab it. Okay, so I have that. Now I'm going to take this green, and this, I'm not mixing it this time, I'm using that color, and I'm just going to dip into my paint. Okay, and I got the green on the paintbrush, and I'm going to paint around the edges. Let me just make sure that there's enough. Okay, so now I'm going to paint all around, just like that. Actually, I'm going to pour this out right there. Not a lot, but okay, and I'm just going to paint around the edges, all around, to all the sides, like that. So now I have it like that. Then I'm going to take my turtle shell, move it into the middle, and I'm going to start this in the middle of the turtle shell. Let me just get it right there, okay? So I'm gonna go right here in the middle, and I'm gonna put my first spot down. And then I'm just gonna gently squish it like that. And there is the beginning of the shell. See, like that? Okay. It still hasn't dried well, so you have to let its legs dry, but just for me to show you. You basically could get a couple of, so now I'm gonna leave some space. I'm not gonna touch the other end. I'm gonna leave a little space and put my next, pat all the ends down, so I got my next. If you're missing a spot, we'll fix it after. So again, now I'm gonna dip into my light green again, smooth it out in this spot, and paint the ends. You gotta keep repeatedly doing this. All around each time, so that you get the separate colors. Okay, then I'm going to go this way, kind of line up the line to the line. Again, I'm not touching it. I'm going to pat it down. See, just like that, and I can make another one. Now I'm going to go over here. And if it's on a turn, you just push the sponge down that way so it gets both ways, okay? Again, now I'm going to dip it in my green, and I'm just going to continue the whole thing until I fix his whole shell. Oh, I just got my hands in there. All right, go down with the green again. Just wipe my fingers off. Okay. I'm going to go all around. Let me go up this way next to this one. And again over here. You get the idea, you're just going to keep going. And you could even go on this top of this thing, so there's a bump in the dish, you'll see it. Press it and put it on. I said again, if it's missing, we're just gonna, you could touch it up after. So here we go, dip, rub it, go around the edge, like that. And now we're going to go right here. We'll go here and over the shell a little, the edge. And just push it down gently, but remember, you don't want a lot of water and you don't want a ton of paint. So you can continue to do that all along the shell. Put a little more. Dip, rub, paint it, the edges, just to give that color contour. And you're going to fill in your whole shell. You're going to fill in the spots. You get a few, go all around. Rub. And just continue all this way. Okay. So you're going to continue the whole way around. He's still not dry. This way, it's very important you let it dry. I'll show you on the one that we have finished. See, it went all, let me get this out of the way. So the one that's finished, we went all the way around and we filled in the shells, the whole shell, we filled it in. Now, like I said, if you missed a spot, you could just take your sponge and like you could just gently touch the area, like right here where it missed. I'm gonna actually, well, I'm gonna take one of the pieces that I cut off. I'll use that. I'm gonna wet it. I'm gonna wring out the wet, heavy water. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the green right there and then drop it. And then I have a little bit on here and I could just dip in the little spots I wanna fill. See, you fill them right up so it doesn't look like the spot is empty. And then I blended it in, you see? Dip. So now I covered up those spaces and I don't have missing piece. So that is the idea of how you're going to do that. The next thing, after you finish your shell, you need to paint your turtle's face. Now you could either use the black and white paint, or you could, if you have any, this is a paint pen. So sometimes it's easier to draw things on. So I'm gonna use these for now because they dry faster and I could show you how to do it. So all you need to do is make the 2 white spots for his eyes. He's gonna get a mouth. I don't know if you can see it so well, like there. And some eyelashes you can put on him. So let me show you let me put my green paintbrush and the other one into the paint. Just try to get some of this green paint off my hands. Okay, let me get him out of the way. Let me take another paper towel. Now, you see his head is here. So you want to kind of see where to put your eyes. So let me show you with the, let me get a clean paintbrush to make a circle for his eyes. I kind of like to use sometimes like these flat looking paintbrushes, it's easier, all right? So now I'm going to take my white paint, shake it up. I'm just going to put a little drop on my board. You don't need a lot, it's just a little, 2 dots. Let's see if it's not coming out. Oh, too much came out. But I'll put some back after with my paintbrush. So you're gonna take, where do you want to put his eyes? You want to put it like right here. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and just make 2, you can make them as big or as small as you want. So like that. I just start it out and then I can fill it to the shape I want. See, I just made 2 straight lines going down. And just turn it to me, and now I'm gonna kind of make it a little more rounded. You can make it any way you want. My other turtle had different shape eyes. You can make this. See? I'm just gonna try to make it even. Okay, so I made his eyes. Now you let that dry, and you could do his mouth now. This one I'm going to show you with the pen. I'm going to take the black pen. This is the paint pen. Bought it in a craft store. You have to shake it up. So after I shake it up, I press it down onto my cardboard to make sure there is paint coming out of it. Then I will see on the face where I want to make his mouth. Okay? So I'm just going to make, I go right across and give him a nice big smiley mouth. So much, it's easier with the pen. Don't know if you could see it from there. Here's his mouth. And then I'll make on the side a little smiley thing, okay, on the side and on his other side. Now, I'm gonna wait a little bit for his eyes to dry. The mouth, if you don't like, you know, if you think it looks too thin or if it's not showing enough, you could go over it. You can make it a lighter color. I think we have it there. I see my green was a little dark, so it's hard to see the black on there. I'm just making it a little thicker so it's more noticeable. Let me show you. And there's that. And now we need to put 2 eyeballs on there, okay? So we're gonna take, this time I'm gonna take a skinny little paintbrush and make 2 dots for his eyeballs with the black paint. Okay, put a little black on my brush, and I'm just going to put 1 dot. I don't know if you can see that. 1 dot, right? And then 1 dot in the other one. Now he has his eyeballs. You make them a little bigger if you want to add some white into the middle of them after. Watch, I'll just show you. Make them a little bigger. Again, they have to dry so that you could add speckle white to make the pupil look. Okay, so made them a little bigger. And after that dries, you could take actually the tip of the paintbrush, dip it in your white, and put it right in the middle of the eyes. But let's see if we like how. Might need to make them a little bigger. You use your judgment, however way you like to make his eyeball. That's totally up to you, your own personal project, okay? So there's his eyes. Rinse off this paintbrush. Okay. Then we're going to make some eyelashes. All right, so this paintbrush actually has a few extra hairs that are sticking. I'm just gonna give it a little trim so I can make his eyelashes. Again, we're gonna dip it into the black paint, and then you're just going to quickly add like 3 lines here for eyelashes. Okay, on both sides. And just face me so I could see what I'm doing, and put those eyelashes on. And 3. So now, let me fix this one. Okay, so he has his eyelashes. He's got his mouth, and now I'm going to add, with the end of my paintbrush, a little white dot in the middle. I'm going to use this end of the paintbrush. I'm going to dip it right a little bit into, so just so I have a little dot on the end of my paintbrush. And I'm going to put a little dot in each center of his eye. Okay, so I give you that look. And that is going to be what our finished turtle looks like. Now I do want to say that, which we did not include in this craft, is I believe that this turtle, if you want to put it outside, or you want it to last better, it's nice to put some Mod Podge on. And Mod Podge is this, comes in a lot of different varieties of Mod Podge. And all you do is, it's a clear, well, it looks white paint. Let me just show you what it looks like inside. It looks like that. You just dip your paintbrush in there. I'm not gonna do it now because this thing's still wet on there. And you paint the entire turtle with this, and it gives it a nice little shine, and it'll protect the paint. Okay, so as I explained about the Mod Podge, I also wanted to say that when I said it comes in different, like this one is a water-based sealer. And this is hard, it gives you a hard coat on top of the paint, and it makes it so that like you can't scratch the paint off. It won't come off, because if you just leave it like this and you would have put your planter outside, the rain, I'm sure, it'll get all yucky. Thus, the Mod Podge will seal it. You could buy it in any craft store. Just want to show you the finished one. I don't know if you could see, it has a little bit of a shine. We filled in all the things, his feet, and then you could use it to hold a plant on top of. Just remember again, I just want to remind you that if you're in 4th and 5th grade and you want to get 21st century credit, you have to send in a picture to the children's room at bethpagelibrary.info by April the 30th. Send it in to us. Or again, you can take a picture of it and bring it into the children's room so we could see your picture and we can mark it down that you did it. I hope you guys had fun. I'm looking forward to seeing pictures of your finished products. Have a great day. See you guys next time.